Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today with month 2 of our Harbor Sew Along. We made the flying geese the first month, and we are actually going to be finishing up our houses, but there are a lot of things coming up, so I'm actually going to let you know what we're going to be working on next, and I'm actually even going to be giving you some assignments for a little bit further down the road to make it easier for you to stay caught up with this. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this month we are making the houses, and as I mentioned earlier, and as you know from last time, we did make the flying geese, the 8 small ones and the 3 large flying geese last month. Now, the 3 biggest pieces that you needed to cut for this quilt were these 3 large house roof rectangles. So we should be doing pretty well as far as our fabric is holding up. I'm just going to show you. You put the small houses together and the large houses together exactly the same. And so you just have the 2 squares for either side of the door. And you have the door. And then you have the roof trim, and the roof is the flying geese, that unit that you made last month. You can make these as scrappy as you want. Think about it. Think about making sure that there's contrast between these 2 fabrics, and then also between the house and the door. So I think this will make a super fun house. I started out with this one. I think that would have been really cute too, but then I didn't want to put the 2 ginghams next to each other. So this house is going to have the teal for a break. But anyway, what I recommend doing is sewing the door to a side, press to the house portion, and then sew it to the other side, press to that. And I recommend sewing this unit to the flying geese unit, but sew it from this side. It just seems like you have less of a chance of getting that twisted or turned the wrong way when you're sewing if you sew it from this side. And you can also make sure that you have a 1/4 inch seam for all of the sewing in this quilt. But I do always sew those when I'm sewing a flying geese unit to something else. I sew it with the flying geese unit on top. So really, this month is super, super easy because you've already done the hardest part from this month, and that is making those flying geese units. Okay, just a few notes about when you go to put this row together. The only place where you're going to have seams match up, when you sew the 4 houses together, the seams, you have the trim right there. What I did was I sewed the 2 bottom houses together, and I sewed the 2 top houses together. And then you're going to want to press this unit up toward the top. That way your flying geese unit can stay flat. So that's a helpful thing. You can also, once you lay out your houses and you know what order they're going to go in, you could press. And you can almost really tell, even from the front of this quilt, that this is what I did. I pressed the seams on this orange stripe away from that fabric. So I pressed toward the flying geese roof and toward the house. On this one, you can kind of tell this is a little bit puffier, and that's because I pressed those seams in on top of that green fabric, and that way those 2 seams could nest. So it really helps. You can do that here too. You can also tell this one's slightly puffier, and that's just so interesting. I can really tell this is puffier and this is puffier. So anyway, if you press the 2 houses that are going to be next to each other, one in and one out, you're going to be great. Press those flying geese up. And then when you sew the unit of 4 to the single unit, the only place that's actually going to matter, the seams are going to match right here. So on these large house units, if you have pressed toward the trim, this will have been pressed up towards the houses. Those will nest. and it will work all the way across. So those are just some pressing helps that will help you make sure that it is as flat as can be. Okay, I'm going to give you some thoughts for the months ahead just to kind of set you up. As I mentioned earlier, you've already cut the 3 largest pieces for this quilt, but the next largest pieces that you will need to cut are the squares for the 5 suns. So what I recommend that you do, just so that we don't, everything else is pretty small. I guess these squares are actually, I believe, the same height as the strips for the tulips. But anyway, I would recommend just cutting these squares. Don't worry about making the suns. That's gonna be a little bit more complex, and we'll approach that in another month. But just cut those 5 squares and set them aside. And you can also look, sometimes I use just one fabric for the pieces around the square, but you can notice that I doubled up here. I used 2 different fabrics. This is actually this wreath fabric that I used in combination with the dot. So anyway, just cut those 5 squares so that you have them. Next month we are going to make the tulip row. And I kind of went back and forth on this because you'll notice that our other flower row, the stems and leaves are identical. I thought about just making stems and leaves one month and then making all the flowers another month. But I think we're just going to do this row, and I'll tell you why. The tulip portions, these are very, very simple to make. So definitely also, if you want to, in preparation for next month, you could go ahead and cut these strips for your 5 tulip blocks and get your back, get everything ready. I am going to show you some tips and tricks, and the mini simple folded corners ruler will be a game changer for this row. So if you have that ruler, you're definitely going to want to use it, and if not, you really might want to consider getting it. It really does help a lot. But next month we will also be making the stems and leaves, because these really aren't that complicated. It is kind of the same thing that you're going to do to make the leaves. We're going to use the same method that we use for the tulips, and we just have some squares and rectangles here. So we will do that, and that way, when we do get around to making these flowers, which have a bit more tiny pieces and we'll have a bit more to talk about, you will already know how to make these stems and leaves. So if you want to get ahead next month, you could actually make all the stems and leaves plus the tulips. Just a thought. I know some of you want to get it done early for one reason or another. That is something you could do ahead. But so just plan on cutting out the squares for your suns, and then getting your flower fabrics ready for the tulip row and your greens ready. So, and then next month we will be back on the first Thursday of the month again and give you all the details for making these blocks. I hope you're having fun with this. This really is one of my favorite quilts I've ever made. Okay, so that's it for month 2 of the Harbor Row Quilt Sew Along. I hope you're enjoying making this quilt as much as I did. I've actually got a fun little project that I'm actually going to do with this, because I am just like dying to make it again in our new Delightfully Yours collection. But I'm not sure that I want to make the whole thing, so I might be doing a little bit of a smaller version with that. We'll see more about that in the months ahead. But for now, if you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much for stopping by.